Good morning, everyone.
Hey, happy New Year's
Yeah,
Eve day.
I know. It's
December
crazy.
31st. I can't believe it's the end of the year already.
It zoomed in here on us. I know. I can't believe today's already the day. For us, it's a big day that we always see on a lot of our internal documentation is December 31st. So here it is.
Lots of flipping to 2026 happening today.
Yes.
Our office is not quiet the last day of the year for sure.
Yes.
But it's a good day.
Yeah. Yeah, so we just wanted to get everyone here kind of to just talk about one last time for 2025 is what's happening with the updated search landscape. The big question is what is actually working right now? So Karina and I are here today to talk about kind of what our playbook is for 2026 and how we plan to tackle all of these changes being thrown at us. But kind of some of the biggest takeaways is in the last 6 months, if you have not updated your strategy at all, it's probably costing you. And I mean like actual money in the platform. We're seeing costs drive up. It's getting more competitive, more difficult to win those bids. Really, we've seen just AI overviews essentially condense, speed up, even make it messier for advertisers to really narrow down the customer journey. But that's why we've really been, using this last 6 months to develop a strategy that we really think will work in 2026. And we're excited to talk about. But Karina, do you want to maybe just tell us a little bit of why it matters and why we're talking about it so much?
Absolutely.
It feels.
And, first of all, as just an overall strategist, the whole plan is just becoming more and more convoluted with AI. Whereas we used to think like, oh, TV, newspaper, radio, billboards, we got it covered. And now it's just exploding. And that search environment that we're talking about specifically today has gone from Google's a primary, Google, Microsoft, and now we have 5 or 6 different AI softwares out there that are also doing search, and even some social media aspects are doing search. And when you think about it from your customer's perspective, or even as a consumer, when you're looking for something, it's not just one-dimensional anymore. And the journey doesn't just live in one place. You're not just logging into one place to look and to search and to find. And your customers are doing the same thing. It is an entire journey that's impacted by multiple touch points across multiple different sources. And they're making decisions pretty quickly based on what they're finding. And that finding of information may not be your website because it's getting harder and harder for your websites to show up. And so the goal isn't just about ranking anymore in Google, whereas before the algorithms and the paid search was all about bidding to be in the first 3. Organic was all about showing up on page 1. That really is not as relevant anymore as making sure it's a meaningful location, that your information is where your customers are actually looking for it. And so it's just not about rank or volumes of traffic, but it's really about making sure that you're giving a good unified experience to your customer. You're giving them the information they need when they need it and where they're looking for it. And keeping out those siloed efforts. When we have a search optimization strategy, and we have a social media strategy, and we have a paid search strategy, those individual aspects are no longer effective. It really needs to all come together to build a better customer experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is our update number 1 for sure, is make sure you're treating search as a full experience. It's not just one thing anymore, because it's not. As we've seen in the AI overviews, that's taking up a large real estate of the page. So it no longer can just be, this is my paid search, this is my SEO. They have to work together. It really is that full customer experience where they're going from, they're first discovering you, but they also want to know, do you sell what I need? Can you solve my problem? Are you credible? And what happens if I contact you? That could all be answered right there in that AI overview. So that's really where, when we're saying that it can't be siloed, because all of what Google has rolled out this last year, you can no longer compete that way anymore. That It's just that's the old way of search marketing. So really that is our biggest update is they cannot be siloed. It's search is all one customer journey together. And right now the brands that we're seeing winning are the ones who are making it feel very consistent and trustworthy across multiple searches, queries, things like that. You know, if they're searching FAQs, your brand is consistently there. If they're searching, even what is the perception of your brand, hopefully your brand is still consistently there and they have a positive perception as well online.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think Karina's got our next big
I
update
do.
as
So
well.
point number 2 that we
Yeah.
have today, it's because search is changing, because the algorithms are changing, because consumer behaviors are changing as a result of all of this. We also are changing how we're measuring it and what really is a good solid measurement. What matters when you're looking at your reports and your data that's actually moving the needle for your business, not just giving you some vanity metrics. We talk a lot about vanity metrics.
Mhm.
If you've not heard that term, we should talk. After this, I will definitely go into detail on that. But it's really looking at the rankings and where you're showing up are just no longer the headline. It's where you rank in that algorithm is far, far less important than it was even 6 months ago. We still want to track visibility. That really is a critical point. Where is the visibility? When and how are you showing up? But we don't really need to celebrate it unless it leads somewhere, unless we can document that it is going to a meaningful action. And that meaningful action is different for every business, every person that's listening to us today, every company that you're doing marketing for. That meaningful action is not always the same thing for every single business. So, those metrics that we really, really do care about the most are qualified leads, booked phone calls, form fills or call volume that's coming from your campaigns, organic and paid. What is the conversion rate from your key pages? Like what percentage of that traffic is converting? And if you're wondering, by the way, if your conversion rate is on track or off track, give us a call. We've got some statistics by industry. We can break it down for you and tell you what would be a good benchmark that you can use to measure against to determine if what you're doing is really at the rate or the position that it should be.
Mm-hmm.
Assisted conversions. When is your search or your activities influencing a decision and along that journey, where it might not be an attribution for the very last click that happens,
Mm-hmm.
but it definitely played a role in that overall process. So we want to also track that attribution. And if search really can't be connected to a business outcome, then it just drops down on the priority list.
Mm-hmm.
Not every business needs to have a paid search strategy or an organic search strategy, although we would want to evaluate that before we said yes or no.
Mm-hmm.
But there's just some businesses where it doesn't make sense to invest time, energy, dollars into search. So we want to make sure, again, we go back to, is it really moving the needle? Are we having an impact? Are we seeing a result?
Mm-hmm.
So that how we're reporting things and how we're talking about things has definitely evolved over the last 6 months, because we really want to look at what is driving meaningful results, what is driving engagement, what is driving interaction, what is driving those conversion metrics, and not just what moved. Like, yeah, search I can get you 1 million clicks on search tomorrow.
Yeah,
that's not impossible. We can do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not good traffic.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to move your needle. It's
Mm-hmm.
not going to increase your sales. So I would rather send you 1,000 really good qualified people to your website and make sure that they're the right people at the right time.
Right.
And also that kind of goes back to monitoring landing pages.
Mm-hmm.
If we're not seeing a landing page really work or be effective, that doesn't mean that landing page is garbage. It means we really have to dig further into the strategy and figure out, we need to look at conversion optimization. We need to look at where the button's located. How is it forming? How is it showing up? And how is the ad campaign driving the traffic to it? And just kind of dig into the strategy a little bit deeper.
Yeah, absolutely. And that kind of brings us to our next third update is when you're looking at that landing page and that strategy, truly understanding what is the intent behind that. It's a big word that we've kept saying the last 6 months, but truly these are the signals that signal to Google, to all of these AI tools, is what is the intent behind that search? Because these tools are meant to be helpful, there's meant to be a helpful search. It already is trying to predict those things. What is the intent behind those words exactly? A big example we always use is the hiking boots, right? If you throw in hiking boots in the search, you probably are looking for very specific things, right, in your hiking boots. It's not just the first one that comes up. You want good traction, good ankle support, all of those wonderful things that make hiking boots good hiking boots. Really, Google is trying to do that. They're trying to take the intent of your search and figure that out, to give that helpful content. Well, us as marketers also need to find out that intent, and we need to figure out how to map them and get them that information that they need, as Karina's saying, when they're searching for it. What journey are they in stages, to get them to map back to that intent, to hopefully help them along in their customer journey. AI obviously will be a helpful tool in that, but if you're not giving that information to AI, they're never going to get there. So we as marketers have to make sure we're giving these tools that proper information, and that aims to, improve the messaging, improve the landing page content, really zoning in on what is the content that performs, what's the language that resonates, all of the above with that. All of it kind of sounds really big, but it shows up in a few of our specific priorities and the things that we're doing in the day-to-day. So what we're prioritizing on the ad ops and the ad sides of things and the SEO, is landing page alignment and conversion behavior. So really making sure, looking at that conversion rate, is the landing page that we're targeting, is it effective or not? And it's not just getting clicks, but it's also converting. But then the next thing we're also looking at is we're trying to really improve on what already exists. Because I think that's something that is a misconception right now as well, is everybody's like, throw it all out the window, let's start over. Not the case at all. We're really trying to zone in, what do you have? You have great content most of the time. It's just hidden, it's buried, it's maybe not optimized exactly how someone is searching. So that's really one of our larger focuses. And then what would you say you guys are focusing on?
And so from more of like the strategist account executive side and talking to our customers, really what we're talking to them about is, how can we really truly understand the customer journey and their customer journey, and making sure that we are really focusing their presence around the topics that are impactful. What problems do they solve for their clients? Where are their clients looking for answers and solutions? How can we align that strategy to make sure everything is cohesive? And then the performance reporting. I mean, it really is about tracking those metrics that really are driving and moving the needle, that matter to the client and to their business. And are we having a true business impact with the efforts that we're doing? Or are we just giving them impressions and views and kind of those vanity metrics that I talked about earlier? But it's really is that measuring what matters and making sure that we are able to tell the story and understand the client and their clients well enough to be able to optimize the campaign and feed you the information you need to do your job well.
Exactly. Right. And
That's
always our big things, is our clients know their customers the best. So I think really helping them bridge that is important.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So just as a wrap up, if you're listening here and thinking, we're not doing that yet, or I'm not sure what they're even talking about, or has it changed that much? Or if you even are starting to look at your own numbers, and as you evaluate the year, starting to see declines in organic traffic, you're starting to see conversion and lead forms drop off, you're starting to see your cost in advertising increase. These algorithm changes and this new environment is impacting your business. And to Hannah's point earlier, it costs more if you're not adapting your strategies and your approach and your keyword list and your copy, all of those things to this new world of search marketing. It is going to start costing you more. Your performances are going to start to drop. And we don't want that to happen to you. So we know AI is speeding up decisions for our clients, for us as we're doing research and trying to identify information, we know that it is impacting everything that we're doing, whether we like it or not. It's here, it's having an impact. So we need to figure out how we can work with it, how we can learn to use it to our benefit, and how we can start building attribution models around it so that we can also measure and track what's happening and know where we need to be, how we need to show up, and when we need to show up to move the needle. Also, we want to make sure that I'll share with you, we have updated our playbook. How we're doing things is really built around alignment and outcomes. And we want to make sure that you guys are doing that as well. Start looking at, like, how does everything work together? How does one channel impact another channel? And how can we make sure that we're measuring everything so that we know exactly what's happening as a result of all of those pieces working together? You probably heard a lot about omni-channel marketing. This truly is omni-channel marketing. It's where everything is connected, everything works together, and we're breaking down all of those individual channel silos. On that point, don't silo your strategy. If you still have dedicated budgets based on, we're going to spend this in search, and we're going to spend this in programmatic, and we're going to spend this in optimization, or we're going to spend this in social media, break down those channels. Start looking at it as a whole and optimizing as you're gathering data, as you're seeing information, as you're looking at conversion metrics. Start keeping things fluid. Yes, it's still good to have an annual plan. Yes, it's still good to set a budget for the year and to manage that budget. We're not saying that budgets are irrelevant. I think budgets are actually more relevant.
Yes.
But I think you find as you do this and you start breaking it down and you put everything together and you start with this omnichannel approach and you start looking at all of these pieces and connecting them, you don't actually need to spend as much money to get a greater impact. And so message us if you want to learn more, or even if you want to stress test your strategy. If you want to do a little pressure testing on it to make sure you're on track, let us know. We'd be happy to help you out with that, to provide some tricks and tips, to maybe do a little evaluation or exam if you'd like us to do that, and just make sure that you are set up for success in 2026. And so I think as we move into the new year tomorrow, as we look at everything that's coming our way, we want your ad dollars, your ad campaigns to work just as hard. Set those goals, set those resolutions for your campaign, and then let's make them a reality.
It's an exciting year ahead, but like Karina said, I mean, just the thought of fluid budgets, things like that should be really exciting. It's back into the marketer's hands of testing and truly being the experts in this industry, because like we've mentioned, you're likely already feeling the effects right now if you haven't, and you might be getting the heat and the pressure on you of what's going on. So please reach out. We're always happy to help answer questions at any time.
As we're sitting here, we missed a huge opportunity. We needed to have 2026 headbands today.
I know the eyeglasses. I know.
Missed it.
But I know we've already gone 8 minutes over our usual time, but that's what happens when Karina and I are talking strategy for the year. We're excited. It's a good year ahead. So
awesome. Oh, if you have any questions, you can obviously drop a comment, drop a link, ask a question in the comments, direct message us. We will make sure that we monitor those and get back to you on anything that we see come through that way, or just email us, give us a call. We'd be happy to have a conversation. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everyone. Thank you.